Okay, before we begin, I forgot to mention that I am playing and recording this and putting this video out on April 1st. That's why I am playing against Enchantress from the Trickster Takeover. I was going to play against Loki, but then I saw that Loki had a bunch of weird stuff going on that had to do with like multiple groups and whatever. You can play it solo, but I didn't want to deal with that, so I decided to play against Enchantress instead. So with that said, this health dial is kind of a spoiler, don't look at that. Let us begin the game. Welcome back to Trash Plays Marvel Champions. Today we are playing Jubilation aka Jubilee, against Enchantress, who came in the Trickster Takeover, what's it called? Scenario Pack. And for some reason this came in a plastic clamshell, which I thought they were phasing out, so I don't know why this came in that. And I'm pretty sure that this is a new printing because I just got it when it got restocked lately. So that's kind of confusing to me, but whatever. So we're playing Jubilation in Standard 3, so we are using Pursued by the Past and all that good stuff, and let's draw our hand of 6. Now, the reason I'm playing Jubilation is because I don't think that she's very good based off the cards that I saw in her deck, so I'm hoping that she is, in fact, a treat, and that I'm not going to hate every second of playing her. So let's see what we have. The main scheme actually starts with 1, so I can thwart it and use 3 steps ahead. Not 3 steps ahead. I can use Waylay to deal 7 damage to Enchantress if I wanted to. I suppose I might as well use Jubilee's ability to search my deck for the Shopping Spree player side scheme, but do I want to mulligan first? I don't think I want to mulligan just because I don't have Shopping Spree in my hand. And if I mulligan, I might draw it, and therefore I will have absolutely no ability in Alter Ego form, because I do not search my discard pile for Shopping Spree, so I can't spend it and then get it back into play. So I kind of think her Alter Ego ability is actually absolute garbage. I searched online to make sure, I looked at the latest rules reference, 1.7, to make sure that there was no change to this, that they didn't decide that making it only your deck was bad. And for some reason, they have not eroded this, so that is in fact what her ability is. Meaning that your opening hand can just be something you're scared to mulligan if you want to get that player side scheme out. I also think it's a really weak player side scheme ability, so that's something else as well. But we're playing Jubilee, we might as well play her stuff. Now, do I want to exhaust Jubilee to remove 1 from the Shopping Spree? You cannot remove threats from this from heroes or allies, and any ally can exhaust their Alter Ego to remove 1 threat from here. And when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches their deck and discard pile for an item card and puts it into play. So it doesn't even benefit everyone at the table, and everyone has to exhaust their abilities, their heroes, to do this. It's so bad. It's so bad. I hate this so much. Do I want to use it? My main ability just allows me to exhaust Jubilee to generate a wild resource. She has 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, and only 9 HP, so really bad on HP front as well. I don't need to play a multi-resource thing this turn if I'm just going to play Waylay. So for Waylay, I can use Plasmoid Energy and 3 steps ahead, meaning I can use these 2 to play for Beak. So I don't need to... No, I still need to manually... I still need to thwart 1 from the main scheme in order to play Waylay. So yeah, I'm going to flip over to Jubilee, manually thwart 1 from the main scheme. It does start with 1. And as a response to that, I will use Plasmoid Energy and 3 steps ahead to play Waylay. After your hero thwart, deal 4 damage to an enemy. 7 instead if that thwart removed the last threat from that scheme, which it did. So I get to deal 7 damage right away to Enchantress. Then I'm going to use 2 to pay for Beak. Beak has... It's a 2/2, 1/1/2, and response after I pay Beak from my hand, remove 1 threat from a scheme for each X-Men ally I control, which is 1, but there are no threats I can remove threat from. There are no schemes I can remove threats from because I can't remove threats from this with allies. So that kind of sucks, but I have an ally out to chump block if I need to chump block. So that's going to be the end of my turn. And draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I forgot to mention that for her Enchantress, you get dealt a random Hypnotic Gaze, and then when this hits 5 charm counters, it flips over, and there's some sort of ability that happens. This is random, so I don't know what's going to happen, so let's see what... Well, yeah. Main scheme gets 1. Enchantress attacks. Her ability is Force Response. After Enchantress attacks you, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. And if I have the Enthralled trait, which is what happens when the Hypnotic Gaze flips over, then it would put it on the main scheme instead. So she's attacking for 1. I'm just gonna take this. 1 plus 2, that's 3 damage to me. And then we get dealt a face down card. That face down card is Ulik, Brute, Troll, 5, 0 Scheme, 3 Attack. In Expert Mode, Ulik gains Toughness. Ouch. I like this. I like cards that are like, in Expert Mode, you get some sort of effect, instead of just being like, you put in the 3, what's it called? Exhaustion, Master Plan, and Under Fire. I hate these cards. I don't think Expert should just put these cards into every encounter. I think that the encounter should be designed so that in Expert Mode, cards have different abilities that makes them harder. So I really like this. 0 Scheme, 3 Attack, 5 HP. I'm not playing Expert, so he doesn't have Toughness. Force response after a player deals any amount of damage to to Enchantress. Ulik attacks that player. Wow. When defeated, Enchantress attacks the player who defeated Ulik and gets +1 attack for that attack. That's brutal. Okay. Well, I think I want to kill him. After... Okay, so this isn't when I deal damage to Ulik. It's only after I defeat Ulik that happens. So I can... Oh, there's my 2 items that I really want to play. See, that makes things really awkward, because I just want to set up now. I think I'm just going to spend this turn setting up. So 2 for Jubilee's coat, and then Jubilee and Flash of Light for Jubilee's sunglasses, and that basically builds out my entire thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Use all of that for these 2, and Beak is going to do nothing. I think I want to keep it. I suppose I could deal 1 damage to Ulik. Oh, when she attacked me, 1 counter should have been put on Hypnotic Gaze. Yeah, I guess I could do 1 damage to Ulik, and then that leaves Beak with 1 HP. That should be fine. Draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just in case you don't know, Jubilee's sunglasses gives me +1 attack, Jubilee's coat gives me +1 thwart, and hero response attack. After I play an attack event, I can exhaust Jubilee's sunglasses to choose an enemy, deal 1 damage to the enemy for each different resource type used to pay for that event, and Jubilee's coat does the same thing except it thwarts from a scheme for each resource used to pay for a thwart event. So main scheme gets 1. Enchantress attacks. I think I'm gonna use Beak to block Ulik. So Enchantress is gonna attack. I'm just gonna take this. This is boosting for 1 at the very least, so that's 2 damage. And I put 1 on the Hypnotic Gaze. And what's this boost ability? Boost. Choose to either place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area, or exhaust your identity. Or exhaust my identity. Do I need to... I really want to play Heroic Conditioning. This gives me +3 hit points, and I only have 9, which is super, super low. I really want to play that. I also really want to play X-Gene, and that does not give me enough to pay both of these. So I think I want to keep Jubilee unexhausted to pay for both of these cards. So I will put 1 charm counter on the Hypnotic Gaze, unfortunately. So that resolves that attack. Ulik is now going to attack, and Beak... I'm at 5. Yeah, Beak is going to block this. So Beak will be destroyed, defeated actually is what it's called. And then we revealed the Trickster Tango. The villain gains Stalwart. That's nice, so they cannot be stunned or confused. And they actually print what it says on here. That's so nice. I love it when they actually print what it says on the thing. And it has 2 acceleration icons. Yikes. Okay, I really want to thwart that right away. That comes into play with 4. But if I pay both my stuff, I'm not going to be able to thwart that right away. But I also feel like I need to play both of these things. Am I okay with 2 acceleration icons? That's going to be 3 onto the main scheme. That's going to bring it up to 5. And then Enchantress and Ulik are going to attack me. And I will be able to take that attack because I will have a hero conditioning out. And I'll be completely set up at that point. Let's do it. Exhausting Jubilee, using these for hero conditioning, and using Waylay to pay for X-Gene. I can only do this if I have the mutant trait. Ooh. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, for some reason, the X-Men don't have the mutant trait when they're in hero form. They only have it when they're in alter ego. And apparently, when your alter ego is face down, you don't get the traits that are in your alter ego, which is very, very stupid. I could flip over and just let her complete the main scheme. That is an option. It will let me completely build out, and then next turn I could heal as well. Alright, fine, let's do that. I'm going to exhaust Jubilee for the... use X-Men and Waylay for the hero conditioning, and then I'm going to flip over and use Firecracker to pay for the X-Gene, and that's going to be the end of my turn. So this is going to give me +1 thwart. So I now have a total of 3 thwart. I got to keep that in mind. +3 HP, draw back up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Main scheme gets 1. Enchantress schemes for 2 plus boost. Reveals his card. Huh. Didn't see that coming. So attached to your identity, so this attaches to me actually. Forced response, exhaust this card, place one charm counter on the forced action, which is a new type of action that was introduced in Trickster Tango, I think, or Trickster Takeover. This allows me to... No, this makes me exhaust this card, place one charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area, play a card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. Which, to be completely honest, would be something I'm very excited to do in any other character, but for Jubilee I want to play expensive cards paying their entire cost. Alter Ego action, exhaust this card to discard this card, so I could get rid of this card right away. Exhaust this card to discard this card. Yeah, so I could just get rid of that right away. So anyways, main scheme gets 2, and then this only happens after Enchantress attacks me, so Hypnotic Gaze does not get 1. Ulik is going to scheme for 0, so nothing goes on a main scheme. I think I forgot to account for Trickster Takeover, or Trickster Tango, giving it +2, so this does complete the main scheme, actually. And when the main scheme is completed, what happens? When revealed, if the Crown of Enchantress attachment is in place, stun each identity. Otherwise, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Crown of Enchantress. This is not in the discard pile. And reveal it and shuffle. And then flip this over, and this comes into play with 2 per person. And force interrupt when a charm counter would be placed on an enchantment card in your play area. If your identity has the enthrall trait, place it here instead. So yeah, I still don't need to... This is the same effect basically, I just need to search for the Crown of the Enchantress. What is this? Attached to Enchantress, in Expert mode, Enchantress gains Stalwart. We are not in Expert mode, fortunately. However, she already does have Stalwart from the Trickster Tango. Force response after Enchantress schemes against you. Place one charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. Hero action, each player exhausts their identity and takes 1 damage to discard this card. That's a terrible hero action. Each player exhausts their identity and takes 1 damage. That's so bad. But as long as you don't let her scheme, it's okay, I guess. So that we did not flip over a card yet, and I think this might have been supposed to be out before Enchantress schemed, so 1 will be put on the Hypnotic Gaze actually. And now we reveal Sinister Strike. When revealed in Alter Ego, place 1 pursuit counter on Pursued by the Past. Then if there are any counters on it, this card gains Surge. That's... okay. Next card, Enthralled Lackey, 2 scheme, 1 attack, 3 HP, Enthralled Quick Strike. I am in Alter Ego, so he won't Quick Strike me. Force response after this minion attacks you, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. They really want to put enchantment card tokens on that enchantment. Anyways, it's my turn now. Okay, let's see what's happening first of all. So I have Waylay in my hand, which would deal 7 damage to an enemy, which could be enough to kill... no, not enough to kill Enchantress. She has 15 HP, not 14, so I don't have enough for that. I could defeat Ulik. I really want to defeat the Trickster Tango, though, and I don't have... no, I do have a Thwart event, Flash of Light. Remove 3 threats from a scheme if I pay for this using 2 different resource types. Confuse an enemy. So I could confuse Enchantress... no, she has Stalwart, so I can't even put the Confused on her, actually. I do have 3 Thwart, so if I could manually thwart 1, I could do that. I could also do the Alluring Call. I think I'm going to Alter Ego action, exhaust this card to discard this card. This is going to be more trouble than it's worth, I think, maybe. And in Alter Ego, I think I will... I'm trying to decide if I want to recover or if I want to pay for a card with Jubilee, or if I want to manually thwart. I could use the power in all of us for multi-talented, and... Firecracker? Deal 4 damage. No, I want to use Firecracker to kill Ulik. I think the ideal thing to do is to go Power in All of Us and Flash of Light for multi-talented, and using these 2 to pay for Firecracker. So that means I don't need to have Jubilee be unexhausted to pay for a card, and I can use Jubilee's coat and her sunglasses to defeat Enthralled Lackey and the Trickster Tango. Because this is going to pay for multi-talented using 3 different resources, and this is both an attack and a thwart. So I think it's okay if I recover manually for 3. Then I'm going to flip over. I am exhausted. Let's first use 2 for Firecracker using 2 different resources. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If I paid for this using 2 different resources, I get to stun that enemy. Ulik will be defeated by this, however, so it doesn't really matter. And Ulik has when defeated, Enchantress attacks you, and she gets +1 attack for that attack. So she is attacking me for boost. Choose to either place 1 charm on the counter or exhaust your identity. I cannot exhaust my identity, so this will actually complete the Hypnotic Gaze. Oh, that's going to complete the Hypnotic Gaze. That's... okay. She's attacking for 1 + 1, that's 2 damage. The Hypnotic Gaze is now completed. So this flips over. Permanent, your identity gains the enthrall trait. When revealed, exhaust your identity. Otherwise, discard 1 card at random from your hand. I am exhausted, so I have to discard a card at random from my hand, which means I can't actually use the multi-talented. Oh, this is going so horrifically bad. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, roll a dice to see which one is randomly discarded. That's 2. Flash of Light is now discarded. And now I can't place a multi-talented. And after Enchantress attacks me, it also puts 1 on my thing, but because I have the Enthrall trait, it goes on the main scheme instead as well, so that's now up to 3 on the main scheme. Am I still in the phase of after I play a Thwart event or after I play an attack event? I defeated Ulik. Ulik had a forced response that triggered based off me playing that attack. I am unsure if I'm still in the window for activating Jubilee's coat and Jubilee's sunglasses, so I'm just not going to do it. I'm assuming we're using the Grim rule, which means screw you basically, and I can't do that. Oh, I forgot Trance of Pride has an effect too. Force action, exhaust this card, place 1 threat on the main scheme, remove 2 threats from my side scheme. So I have to do this every turn. So I'm going to use my Trance of Pride, place 1 on the main scheme, and I guess I'll remove 2 from the Trickster Tango. And I can't do anything else, because this is not an identity-specific event, so I can't use X-Gene. Ah man, that really screwed me over. I should have just played the multi-talented first, and then attempted to destroy Ulik, but I went for Ulik first for some reason. Okay, whatever, can't take it back. I'm just going to leave these 2 in my hand, because I want to play it next turn, so draw back 3 more cards. And now it is... 3rd turn, so main scheme gets 3, so now it's already up to 7 out of 9. Enchantress will... oh man. Enchantress is gonna attack, which will place 1 on the main scheme, and then his Thralled Lackey is also going to attack, and they also have after this minion attacks you, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area, which would place it on the main scheme instead. So that's gonna automatically add 2 more. And that's going to complete the main scheme, so I just lost. Yeah, I just lost. Okay. Let's try that again. However, I will say right off the bat, my first impressions of Jubilee at the moment are not very good. She seems really, really weak. I don't understand why she feels so weak. Why did they do this? She feels incredibly weak. I suppose I should also change out my Hypnotic Gaze as well. So let's roll a dice again after I shuffle these things up a little bit, although it's only 5 cards. I probably know where the one I just did is, and I'll roll a dice. If I roll a 6, I'll re-roll. That was a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now my new Hypnotic Gaze, because I'm trying again. Reset everyone's HP. I suppose I did, to be fair to Jubilee, I did spend like 3 turns in a row just playing setup cards. So... I don't think that's how you're supposed to be playing Jubilee, but also, like, I got both of my items that I need to play in that one hand. So, what else was I supposed to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and let's see what we have. X-Gene Wolverine. So I can actually play the X-Gene now, and I have Jubilee's coat. That seems pretty good. 2 for the Jubilee's coat. I can't use Wolverine for anything. But that sets me up, actually. I am in alter ego form. I can choose to do nothing. Everything is too expensive, so I might as well use Jubilee to... do I want to... No mulligan. I might as well get out Jubilee's side scheme again. Jubilee's side scheme, which will probably not activate. But I want it out of the deck. I don't want to draw this thing. So that's going to come in and play with 2. And then I'm going to use Waylay to pay for X-Gene, and 2 for Jubilee's coat. And I'm going to discard Wolverine. I don't think I want to play him. Well, I suppose I could play him. Jubilee's deck is very confused. I wonder why Wolverine is in her deck, because it doesn't go with any of her cards, like, at all. I am going to manually flip over, and then I might as well thwart 1 from the main scheme because it actually starts with 1, so now it's back down to 0, and that's going to be the end of my turn, drawing back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Main scheme's going to get 1. Enchantress attacks, I'm just going to take this. That's a boost of 3, so that's going to be 4 damage to me, and I'm already half dead. And then we reveal, oh, and then this is going to get 1, and we reveal Seduce, attached to your identity. You cannot make basic attacks or play attack you can't play attack events either. Spend a mental and an energy resource to discard this card only in alter ego. That's so bad. That's so incredibly bad. Why did they, okay. Let's use the plasmoid energy to pay for under surveillance so I can't thwart out right away. And I guess I could. A mental and an energy. I'd have a mental and an energy. This is so silly, but I think I am good. Yeah, whatever. Fine. I'm going to flip over, and I'm going to use a mental and an energy to discard. That's so silly. And I'm going to leave multi-talented in my hand to play it next turn. So draw back up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's the villain's turn. It gets +1. Enchantress schemes this time for 2 + 2, so that's 4 on the main scheme. Followed by a face-down card of Law of Attraction. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a enthralled minion is discarded. Reveal that minion. Zax is enthralled, and this has an acceleration icon, and it comes into play with 2. Zax is a 1/2/6 Elite Enthralled, Retaliate 1, that sucks. Victory 1, when revealed, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource discarded this way, take 1 indirect damage. So this could kill you in alter ego mode. That's interesting. So discarding 4, and I have 1 printed energy resource, so I am going to take 1 damage. And when defeated, the player who defeated this minion puts the set-aside Zax ally into play under their control. So that's good at least. Can I defeat them? I have Jubilee's Coat, which is a thwart. I have another X-Gene. I did put 2 into in my deck, but only because this has a wild resource which helps pay for multicolored or multi-resource costing stuff. That's why I did that. I have another thwart. I have Chamber, who can attack for 2 on a confused minion. They don't. And another thwart and a multi-talented. I have no attacks. I mean, multi-talented is an attack, but I have no like major attacks. Let's exhaust Jubilee to recover 3. Even her recovery is bad. Flip over. And now I'm exhausted, and use multi-talented via X-Gene, Chamber, and 3 steps ahead. So that's going to be 3 different resources, and I think, yeah, I can choose all of them. So this is going to allow me to deal 2 damage to an enemy. I'm going to deal 2 damage to Zax, and unfortunately he does have Retaliate 1, so I will take 1 damage from that. Remove 2 threats from a scheme, so I'm going to thwart out the Law of Attraction. And this has no when defeated effects. And heal 2 damage from my identity, so I'm back down to 1 damage. And then I can exhaust Jubilee's Coat. After I play a thwart event, this is both attack and thwart, I get to remove 1 threat from my scheme for each different resource type used to pay for that, so I get to remove 3 from the main scheme. Then I will use X-Gene. Exhaust X-Gene to generate a wild resource for an identity-specific event. This is identity-specific, and the Power of Justice as a different resource to remove 3 threats from a scheme. So that's going to remove the last threat from the prime real estate. And if I paid for this using 2 different resource types, I can confuse an enemy. So she is not stalwart or anything. I do get to confuse Enchantress. Cool. And that's going to be the end of my no, Hypnotic Gaze is not flipped up, so I don't have to do that. So I can draw back up to 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Main scheme gets 1. Enchantress attacks. I'm going to take this for boost. Reveals this card. Love Concoction. Attached to your identity, actually. Force response. Exhaust this card. Place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. Ready your identity. Alter ego action. Exhaust this card to discard this card. That's actually quite interesting. Enchantress has some interesting stuff going on. But she is attacking for 1. I take 1 damage. Zax attacks for 2. I take 2 more damage, so I'm up to 4. She also attacked, so Hypnotic Gaze gets +1. And then we reveal Enthralled Brute, 1 scheme, 2 attack, 4 HP, guard. When this minion is engaged with a player whose identity has the Enthralled trait, which I have Defiant, this minion gets +3 hit points, so I want to defeat him before the Hypnotic Gaze goes off. Okay. So now it's my turn, and I can do quite a lot, actually. Triage. After Triage enters play, heal 2 damage from an X-main character. I am an X-main character, so I could play Triage and heal 2. Ooh, I have my sunglasses. Let's use... How am I going to do this? 2 for Triage to heal 2 from me. And then... Jubilee and Flash of Light to play sunglasses, and I won't have enough to pay for Beak after that, even if I unexhaust myself, so that's not gonna work out well. I might as well use Jubilee to do some attacks. So let's use 2 for Jubilee sunglasses, and 2 from the Power of All of Us. For Triage, after Triage enters play, heal 2 damage from an X-main character, that's gonna be me. So I heal 2. And Jubilee Sunglasses gives me +1 attack, so Jubilee is going to do 2 damage to Enthralled Brute. This will exhaust me, dealing 2 to Enthralled Brute. He does not have Retaliate. Yeah, he doesn't have Retaliate. I could attack Zax instead. What is the Zax ally? Zax ally. Linked Zax minion, victory 0, does not count against your victory limit. 3 dwart, 1 attack, 4 HP, responds after Zax enters play. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for a card with a printed energy resource and add it to your hand. No, that's not as good. Nope, never mind. So yeah, I am now going to exhaust Love Concoction, place 1 counter on the Hypnotic Gaze to ready my identity, and then Jubilee is going to do 2 more damage to Enthralled Brute to defeat the Enthralled Brute. Triage is honestly here just a minion block, but I might as well have Triage deal 1 damage to... Oh, no, he has Retaliate. I will deal 1 damage to Enchantress then, I guess. And Triage will take 1 damage, and that's going to be the end of my turn. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then main scheme gets 1. Enchantress attacks. I don't want to chump block this one. I'm okay with taking this hit. Yeah, I'm okay with taking this hit. 1 + 1, that's 2 damage. Zax attacks for 2, so that's 4 more damage to me. I'm back up to 6. Hypnotic Gaze will get 1 as well, followed by the flip of Law of Attraction. When reveal, discard... Wait, this is the same thing. Didn't I just dealt with this. Oh my goodness, okay. Getting another... Enthralled... Another Enthralled Brute as well. Okay. Sure. Now it's my turn, and I have Multi-Talented in my hand, which I'm always happy to see, and I have Heroic Conditioning, which I also really want to play. So let's use the Gambit, Unlikely Duel, and Jubilee to pay for Heroic Conditioning, which gives me +1 Dwart and +3 HP, so I don't die. And then I guess I'll use the Love Concoction to unexhaust myself, but that will put the 5th counter on the Hypnotic Gaze. So now this flips over. Permanent... No, wait. No. Can I kill... Can I defeat... Can I defeat... the Enthralled Brute before I flip over? Because once I flip this over, he's gonna have +3 HP. I have Multi-Talented in my hand. Okay, I'm not playing Heroic Conditioning yet. Let me take this entire turn back. So I want to play the Multi-Talented first so I can defeat that Enthralled Brute. So let's go Plasmoid Energy plus Jubilee, sure. Yeah, Jubilee. For the Multi-Talented, this will pay for all the different colors, so I get to deal 2 damage to an enemy, 2 damage to Enthralled Brute. Remove 2 from a scheme, so that's going to be 2 from the Law of Attraction, which will defeat it. And heal 2 damage from my identity, so I'm back down to 4. And in response to this, I am going to exhaust both of my Jubilee's coat and sunglasses, because this is both an attack and a thwart. And I don't have anything that stops me from thwarting or attacking, I believe. So now I get to remove 3 threats from a scheme, because I used 3 different resources, so that's 3 from the main scheme. And I get to deal 3 damage to an enemy. Do I want to do Enthralled Brute? I could go for Zax as well. No, let's just get rid of the Enthralled Brute. Screw it. Make this nice and easy. So now they're defeated. Okay. Okay. So now I am going to use the Love Concoction, unexhaust myself, place 1 on the Hypnotic Gaze, flip the Hypnotic Gaze over, and then this happens. I am now enthralled. When revealed, discard a card you control, otherwise discard the top 8 cards of your deck. I don't think this is a choice, actually. I think this is, you have to discard a card you control, and if you don't, then you discard the top 8 cards of your deck. Like, that's not a choice, I don't think. So I'm going to discard Triage, because I want to keep the X gene. So I should have used Triage first. Force action, exhaust this card, give Enchantress a face-down boost card, ready your identity. Wow, so I get 2 readies every turn. Also, that's going to give Enchantress another boost card. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. I can deal with this. So now I'm going to use Jubilee. Yeah, I'm going to exhaust Jubilee, use these 2 to pay for the heroic conditioning now. And then I have to use my Trance of Envy. I'm going to exhaust this, unexhaust myself, but Enchantress gets a face-down boost card. And now that I'm unexhausted and I have 2 attack, I might as well use Jubilee to attack Zax for another 2. And then he has Retaliate, so I'm going to take 1 damage. Next turn, she's going to attack for 1 plus 2. That's going to be at least 3 damage to me. I would be up to 8, so I would lose. She is confused. Zax only has 1 scheme, so I am going to flip over. Next turn, heal. And that's going to be okay. So that's, yeah, that's fine. So main scheme gets 1. Enchantress tries to scheme, but she is confused. So she gets to keep this boost card, but the confused goes away. Zax will scheme for 1, so 1 goes on a main scheme. And then we reveal. Do my bidding. Treachery. When revealed, choose. If your identity has the Defiant trait, choose 1. If your identity has the Enthrall trait, do both in any order. And I have the Enthrall trait. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion and reveal it. That sucks. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a side scheme and reveal it. And then shuffle. That's okay. I have to do both of these. Oh my goodness. Alright. I am going to look through all these cards to pick which one is best. So I'm going to pause the recording for now and pick up when I finally have picked. Okay, so I forgot to draw my hand of 6. This was my hand of 6, and it's actually quite explosive. I can play both Multi-Talented and Grand Finale, so that's going to give me a lot to work with. So the cards that I have chosen to search for are Titania. She has Steady, Victory 1, 8 HP, 1 scheme, 3 attack, but she's not activating at the moment. Titania's attack is gain overkill. When defeated, the player who defeated Titania or this minion puts the set-aside Titania ally into play under their control, so if I defeat Titania, I can put her under my control, as well as Zax, who is almost dead. And for the side scheme, I've chosen Trickster Tango. The villain gains Stalwart, which is fine because I'm not trying to stun them this turn anyways, or confuse them. And 2 acceleration icons, it comes into play with 4 threat, but I can easily thwart that with my Multi-Talented plus Jubilee's coat. So, that revealed the Do My Bidding that completes that villain activation, and now it is my turn. So, I am going to... What am I going to do? I need these 3 to pay for Grand Finale. These will pay for Multi-Talented, so Jubilee is completely free to do whatever she wants. So Jubilee is going to manually exhaust to recover 3. And I'm going to use my force response, exhaust this card, give Enchantress a face-down card to ready my identity, so now I am ready again, but she has 2 boost cards. Then I'm going to manually exhaust again to recover another 3. So I'm back down to 0 damage. And I'm exhausted, but then I'm going to exhaust Love Concoction, exhaust this card, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. I already have the Enthrall trait, so that goes on a main scheme instead, so this is up to 3, to exhaust, to ready my identity, so now I'm readied once again. Flip over to Jubilee. Readied Jubilee, I am going to now use Marrow and Plasmoid Energy. No, not Marrow, I'm going to use Blinding Flash and Plasmoid Energy to pay for Multi-Talented using all 3 of these. Actually, it doesn't really matter. Huh. Now that I think about it, it actually does not matter. Either way, I'm going to use Multi-Talented. I get to deal 2 damage to an enemy and remove 2 threat from a scheme. So I'm going to remove 2 from the Trickster Tango and deal 2 damage to Zax, which will defeat Zax. He has Retaliate 1, so I will take 1 damage. But then I get to recover 2 from my identity, so it did matter. Okay. So Zax is now defeated. He has Victory 1, and he goes into Victory Display. When defeated, I search for the Zax ally and put him into play under my control. Zax is a 3 scheme, 1 attack, 4 HP minion. Does not count against my ally limit, has Victory 0. Response after Zax enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a card with a printed energy resource and add it to my hand. And there are no cards like that. But that's okay, I don't really need it. And shuffle. Not that it matters. There's 2 cards left. It's fine. I have gotten rid of Zax. I am ready. I can use X-Gene, Marrow, and 3 steps ahead. This generates a wild resource to pay for Grand Finale. Deal 2 damage to an enemy for each different resource type used to pay for this card. Choose an enemy and deal 2 damage to it. So I get to deal 2 damage 4 times because I paid using 3 different resources plus the 2 initial. So, after I played the... Sorry. After I played Multi-Talented, I'm going to exhaust Jubilee's sunglasses and Jubilee's coat. So, Jubilee's coat allows me to remove 1 threat from a scheme for each different resource used to pay for that event. I used 3 different resources for Multi-Talented, so I get to remove 3 from the main scheme. Okay, yeah. Jubilee is going to manually thwart 2 from the Trickster Tango. So this is now going to be defeated, and I am now exhausted permanently for this turn. Then I'm going to use these X-Gene, Marrow, 3 steps ahead for the grand finale, deal 2 damage 4 times, basically. Yeah, 2 damage 4 times, and that's going to deal 8 damage to Titania, who does not have Retaliate, and this will defeat Titania. Titania defeated puts Titania ally into play. 4 cost ally, 2 thwart, 3 attack, 5 HP, link Titania, victory 0, does not count against your ally limit. Titania's attacks gain overkill and piercing. So now I am free to simply attack, I guess. Should I just save these? I kind of don't need Zax, to be completely honest. He doesn't really do much for me. So I guess I will have Zax deal 1 damage to Titania, so he'll take 1 damage back. And I think I'm going to save Titania for when the next big minion comes out that I need to destroy right away. So that's going to be the end of my turn, and now I draw back up to 5, which I don't have, so they get a face-down card. I am fairly certain that I didn't actually activate the sunglasses. I get to deal 3 damage to an enemy, so that's going to be 3 damage to Enchantress. I completely forgot about that, because so much was happening during that turn. So draw back up to 5, main scheme gets 1, Enchantress attacks, Zax, well, she attacks, she gets a boost card. What's the worst that could happen? I am at 0 damage. So assuming these all boost for 3, the worst that could happen is I take 10 damage and I'd still be alive. So maybe Zax won't block. Maybe Zax will stay alive for 1 more turn. Sure, let's not block this. Enchantress attacks, boosting for... well, it's close to 3 each. So that's going to be boosting for 5. I take 6 damage, no star effects. And she has no more minions, so now she gets a face-down card. First face-down card is Cinder. 1 scheme, 4 attacks. Cinder's attacks deal indirect damage and 6 HP. When revealed, if your identity has the Defiant trait, which I don't, Cinder activates against you. If your identity has the Enthralled trait, give Cinder a tough status card, which is fine, because Titania has overkill and piercing. So the second one... huh, that's interesting. So you kind of actually want Cinder... you kind of actually want to be enthralled when Cinder comes out. Interesting. Spell Shards. When revealed, take 3 indirect damage. If your identity took any amount of damage this way, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. 3 indirect damage. You know what? I'm okay with that. Let's do 1 on me. No, let's go 0 on me, and 2 on Zax. So Zax is still alive for 1 chump block. No, and then 1 on me. Yeah, 2 on Zax, 1 on me. So I will put 1 on the main scheme, but that's okay. So that's it for them, and now it's my turn. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to do the overkill with Titania on the Cinder, but that's okay. I'll have Titania attack Cinder to get rid of the tough because she has piercing, and that deals 3 damage to Cinder. And I guess I could use Firecracker to stun Enchantress. She does not currently have anything that makes it so she can't be stunned. So let's use X-Gene and an extra X-Gene from my hand to pay for Firecracker. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If I paid for this using 2 different cards, I can't... well, not this Firecracker. No, it doesn't matter. If I paid for this using 2 different resource types, which I did, I get to stun that enemy. So 4 damage to Enchantress. She's up to 9. And now she is stunned. I guess I'll just use another Firecracker to defeat Cinder. This won't be using 2 different resources, but that's okay, because that's defeating Cinder. I don't need to stun Cinder. And nothing happens when they are defeated. Yeah, nothing happens when they're defeated. When I used Firecracker, my bad, I will exhaust the sunglasses to deal 2 more damage to Enchantress, so she's up to 11 damage. And I guess I could just start attacking her multiple times. I have 2 attack. So Jubilee will attack once, dealing 2 more damage because I have 2 attack from the sunglasses. I'm forced to use the Love Concoction to unexhaust her, which will put 1 on the main scheme. And then Jubilee will attack for another 2, which will bring her up to 15 out of 15, so Enchantress is now defeated. And we move on to Enchantress Stage 2. She has Study, Toughness. Study is you need 2 cards to stun them, I believe. Study character can have 1 additional stun status card and 1 additional confuse card. Yeah, so you need 2 of them to stun or confuse them. But that's okay. In standard mode, put the set aside Future of Despair into play. So that's going to be this. And then place an additional 3 per person threat onto it, which is quite a lot. So that comes into play with 5. Enchantress gains Stalwart and cannot take damage. And cannot take and Stalwart. Wait, what is Stalwart? Does this... I think Stalwart... A character with Stalwart cannot be stunned or confused. However, I think someone said that when someone gains Stalwart, they remove the stunned and confused cards on them. And I don't remember if that's true or not. If a character gains the Stalwart keyword while they have a stunned or confused status card, each stunned or confused status card is removed from that character. Yeah, so that is... When you go on the Discord and you type in Stalwart in parentheses, that's what comes up. So I don't know why they don't write that in this booklet that tells you what Stalwart is. That seems like a thing that you should include in the thing that it's... even when they include stuff that tells you what the stuff is, they don't include the whole thing. That's so silly. So she is now not stunned, unfortunately. So when reveal, place 1 charm counter on each enchantment card in play. So now the main scheme is up to 4, and it's still my turn. Jubilee is unexhausted, and I still have my Trance of Envy. I still need to do that. So unexhausted Jubilee, I can't attack Enchantress. She is back down to 0 damage, so I guess I might as well thwart a bunch. I do have 3 thwart from my Heroic Conditioning and Jubilee's Coat, so I might as well use Jubilee to thwart 3 from the Future of Despair, and then use the Trance of Envy to unexhaust myself and give her a boost card, and then exhaust myself again to thwart another 3 from the Future of Despair. So now she is not Stalwart, and she can take damage, and this is now gone. Let's unexhaust everything, and I'm going to have Zax Shump block this, because she's going to get 2 boost cards. So main scheme gets 1. Enchantress... I think the main scheme might supposed to have 1 more. I think I might have forgot to put 1 from another attack. I think I should have 1 more. So it's up to 6. Enchantress attacks. Get the boost card. Zax is blocking. Boost. After this activation resolves, place 1 pursuit counter on Pursued by the Past. That's okay. That will defeat Zax. Zax has victory 0, so he does not go in my graveyard. And 1 counter gets put on Pursued by the Past, which I completely forgot was there. I'm actually kind of shocked that that has not come up more often. You would think that Pursued by the Past would have more counters by now. Anyways. Enchantress attacked. I already put the thing on there. And now she gets a face down card. Yeah, the boost was 2 and a star. Yeah, that's okay. So face down card is the Crown of Enchantress. Attached to Enchantress in expert mode, Enchantress gains Stalwart. Okay. And force response, after Enchantress schemes against you, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. So this is just going to put 1 on the main scheme. Hero action, each hero exhausts their identity and takes 1 damage. Discard this card. I think I already saw this in the last game, maybe. Yeah, I think I remember ranting about how that's a terrible hero action. I have Waylay. I have 2 Waylays. I have Gambit, Plasmoid Energy, Flash of Light. This can confuse an enemy, but I can't confuse an enemy because she has Stalwart. So I would actually like to get rid of that. I guess I'll exhaust my identity and take 1 damage to get rid of this so I can actually confuse her and stuff. So this is now discarded. Flash of Light is a thwart, so I can use Plasmoid Energy to thwart the main scheme for 3. I'm going to use the coat to remove another 2. And because I paid for this using 2 different resources, I can now confuse Enchantress. She does have Steady, so I do need to confuse her 1 more time, but that's okay. Wait a second. That does not work out too well. I'm going to not use the Plasmoid Energy. I'm going to use the X Gene and a Waylay to pay for that. So now I have 3 resources in my hand that I can use for Waylay when I thwart the main scheme completely. So let's use the Love Concoction to put 1 on the main scheme to unexhaust myself. And then Jubilee is going to thwart the main scheme for 3. That brings it down to 0. Which means I can now use 3 for Gambit and Plasmoid Energy. For Waylay, after my hero thwarts, deal 4 damage to an enemy, 7 damage instead if the thwart removes the last threat from that scheme, which it did. So I get to deal 7 damage to Enchantress. So she's now at 7 out of 16. Oh, she has Toughness. Before that, Titania will attack to get rid of the Toughness. So Titania will take 2 damage. She should have been tough. The tough goes away from Titania's attack, and now the 7 damage goes through to Enchantress. I am now exhausted once again, but now I have to use the Trance of Envy to unexhaust myself and give Enchantress a boost card. As Jubilee, I might as well attack for another 2, I guess. Oh, this was an attack! I can use Jubilee sunglasses, so how did I pay for Waylay? I used Plasmoid Energy and Gambit, so that's another 3 resources to deal another 3 damage to Enchantress, so she's up to 12 out of 16. So 4 more damage and she will be defeated. And that's going to be the end of my turn. I think I have this, actually. I think I'm quite safe. So, main scheme gets 1. Enchantress attacks, puts 1 more on the main scheme, basically. She's attacking, Titania will block, and she boost reveals this card. Kiss of Temptation. Attached to your identity, force action, exhaust this card, place 1 charm counter on an enchantment card in your play area, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card from your hand. That's not that bad. Alter Ego action, exhaust this card to discard this card, boost reveal this card. That's fine. So this will defeat Titania. Oh, second boost card. Right. Second boost card is Enthralled Lackey. Boost, choose to either place 1 charm counter on an enchantment card in your play area or confuse your identity. I will just put 1 on the main scheme. That's okay. So this also goes away. Reveal a card. Titania is defeated. She goes into victory display. Love Triangle. Attached to an ally you control. Otherwise, this card gains Surge. So this card gains Surge. And Spell Blast. When revealed, if your identity has the Enthralled trait, do both Enchantress schemes and attacks you with... Enchantress schemes with +1 scheme in expert mode. And Enchantress attacks you with +1 attack in expert mode. So she's going to scheme and attack me. So I might lose now. But let's see what happens. Let's do the scheme first. So she's scheming for 2... No boosts. Yeah, just 2. 2 plus 2. So that's going to be 4 on the main scheme. Puts it up to 7, which does not flip it over because I have under surveillance on it. And then she's going to attack me for... Oh, she's attacking me for 2 minimum. I have 12 HP. If she boosts for 2, I will be defeated. So I am going to exhaust Jubilee to block this. So attacking for 2 plus 2, that is a 2 boost. So I take 2 more damage, I'm up to 10, and thanks to heroic conditioning, I am not defeated. However, because she attacked, 1 more will go on the main scheme, which will still not complete it, and I think that is it. I'm fairly certain that's it. I forgot to draw my hand of 5, and I think I can just win at this point. Oh yeah, I have multi-talented in my hand, I can just win at this point. So, first off, gonna use the Trance of Envy to unexhaust myself, give her a boost card. Jubilee will attack for 2, dealing 2 more damage. Actually, I don't even need to do the cards. I can just go Love Concoction, put 1 on the main scheme, puts it up to 9, and that's still not completing the main scheme. To ready myself, Jubilee's going to attack for another 2, and that puts her up to 16, and she's defeated. Okay, Enchantress is defeated. Nice. So, second game. First off, Enchantress, really, really fun. I've heard nothing but praise about Enchantress, and she lives up to the hype. Her reputation, like the different trances and the different things that attach to you, makes the game a lot more dynamic and interesting. Like, you're forced to do stuff, but those things that you're forced to do can be beneficial, but it also is detrimental as well. But the detriment is not that bad. When it comes to stuff that just puts 1 on the enchantment card in play, that just puts it on the main scheme, basically, and if you can thwart it, then that's fine. It's kind of beneficial, actually, if you want to try to remove threat from the main scheme, and it has no threat on the main scheme. So that's pretty cool. As far as Jubilee goes, I think she's still pretty weak. Did I think she was a treat, though? Kind of. She had some pretty explosive turns, and those turns were quite satisfying to do. Once you get your sunglasses and your coat out, and probably X-Gene, you can do some cool stuff, but without the extra 3 HP, she's super squishy. So I don't know how I feel about her. As far as her deck goes, I hate Shopping Spree. I don't understand why Wolverine is in her deck, and she's kind of all over the place. However, I can definitely see how she would be better in multiplayer, with all her stunting and fuses and stuff, and the fact that she can actually flip over and do stuff in multiplayer when the threat is higher, as well as the fact that she does just have explosive turns, which is quite fun. I think when villains gain toughness, or not toughness, steady and stalwart, that kind of messes her up a little bit, but that's okay. That messes up everyone, basically. I do think that I'm going to try her again, but in leadership, trying out the suit up with Wolverine to see how that goes. Because I think she has built into her deck enough thwart and confuse cards, thwart and attack cards, I mean, that you don't really need external cards to do that, because leadership has no thwart and attack cards effectively. So you can't use the coat to activate with any of them. But I think I might want to try to see how she works with Wolverine suited up with the sidekick. Until the next game, hopefully I will see you later.